Greetings, heavy metal truckers here. Yo, forgive me, I'm trying to do this intro, but we're trying to still come back from the pretty reckless track we just looked at. So in these videos, we typically take a listen to some metal, and we give our honest thoughts on it. It might be simple, it might be in depth. Who the hell knows? Just whatever comes to mind. And in this video, we're actually going an album review, and this is going to be a review from the latest album from Gaerea. Don't know how it's pronounced, to be honest.
I've always said Gaerea, but it could be wrong.
Yeah, I really don't know, but people understand. Their latest album, Loss. How did it do? Did we enjoy it? Were there complications with it? Issues we had? Well, we're about to find out. So, Frosty, go.
Complications with it.
Yeah, tell the world how you feel about it. Truly feel about it. And go. He's speechless.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I was introduced to them last year on this channel, as per usual, with the second track on the album, Submerged.
Oh, yeah.
Short, sweet, that was how I was introduced. The album itself, getting into it, I enjoyed the first half of this album more than I enjoyed the last half of the album.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It was like the last half of the album felt way too modern, and like Sleep Token took over.
Is that what the Sleep Token sounds like?
But at least with the last track.
It's a little, kind of. I don't know.
I know people are going to be amazed. I haven't listened to them.
I've heard like 2 songs of theirs.
I've heard
1 or 2, but I don't remember. And honestly, like, just I mainly
Couldn't
did.
tell you what they were.
Yeah, I don't care to listen to them mainly because
Me
like,
neither.
people were obsessed with them, and I'm like, typically things that people obsessed with, I tend to stray away from.
just Sleep Token-esque, and it just wasn't for me. The beginning half of the album was far better, at least in my opinion. It was. It was more along my lines of metal listening and everything. I actually enjoyed the very first track on the album more so than the others. Luminary. But that was my favorite track on the album. The third one had like, what is it, Hellbound or whatever the name of it was. I think it was Hellbound.
We covered that one too.
Yeah, I don't remember listening to that one on the channel.
You might not have been here for that one.
No.
Might not have.
We did Hellbound, Submerged, and Phoenix. We didn't cover Nomad because it came out so close to the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember listening to Hellbound while we were on the channel. So
Yeah.
either way, that one to me might not have been. That one to me was it had like different aspects to it that were quite interesting. So it was like not just straight metal, but it had like this back and forth, and I kind of enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, with this being like half the album good, half the album just not for me, I gave this just a solid 2.
What? For
I
you?
I couldn't give it any more than that. I mean, yeah, what the parts of it that I really enjoyed, but the parts of it that I really didn't
I was
like.
guessing he was going to give it a 2.5 because he said he liked to have it in like the other half.
Oh.
Yeah, but the parts that I really don't like, I really don't like. So it's I would give it a 2.5, but it's like
Fair.
I think a 2 is just where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Oh, my turn.
I was about to say we did this actually completely out of order.
It doesn't matter. There is no order.
Yeah. Really.
So,
The order is we're first and he's last.
so I first discovered Gaerea in the truck 3 years ago or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that song was very different than literally everything on this album.
Oh, go ahead. I'll find it.
I don't even remember the name of that song.
Yeah, I'm about to find it.
So for people who enjoy this kind of music,
Urge.
it's not a bad album. What is it called?
It was called Urge.
Urge. Okay. Yeah, for people who enjoy this kind of music, it's not a bad album.
Yeah.
But it's not for me. The only song that was bearable was the first song, the one that Frosty like, Luminary. After that, it was for at least through I think the fifth song, it was pretty straightforward modern metalcore, not my thing. Then you got the Cyclone, and I don't know, or Cyclone. I don't even know what that was. It was weird, and his soft vocals and that sounded awful. Not to mention they were auto-tuned to death.
Which track are you talking about?
Cyclone.
Oh yeah.
The Labyrinth, I don't even remember. That's how unforgettable it was.
That one was a non-lyrical.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was an instrumental, but I literally couldn't tell you anything about it.
It was pretty much Sleep Token music without lyrics.
Nomad, didn't really care for it. Now, Stardust was interesting because even though I didn't care for his clean vocals, again, auto-tuned to hell, I felt like that song had potential if they had done it differently. Because
probably the most Sleep Token-esque song on the album.
It was, but if they had done it differently, I think it would have worked.
Basically.
I'm not. No.
Like it would start soft and then abruptly go heavy and then go soft and abruptly heavy. I feel like if they had and you could tell the song was supposed to be kind of like give you the feels or whatever, but because of the way they structured it, it didn't at all. Like not even remotely. I feel like if they had made this song like a gradual build through the whole song, it would have worked a million times better. But the way they did the song, it completely ruined it. So overall, Luminary is the only thing that was bearable. The rest of it, people who enjoy that kind of music, you can have it. It's not for me. And I would wish they would go back to what that original song I heard 3 years ago sounded like, because it was far better.
Album.
Yeah, it was far better than this. So for me, I actually also gave it a 2 out of 5. And a lot of that is personal bias because it's not my thing.
It's how we roll.
Yeah.
Think about how to go about this. So I discovered Gaerea, I believe, through, it was on Discord actually. Just trying to remember whose channel it was. I can't remember if it was Ola's channel or I think it was Ola through Ola's Discord. Was chatting about people were talking about metalcore or something, and I mentioned that I don't care for metalcore these days. I used to, but just way more into black metal, and like I don't think there's such thing as like a black metal and metalcore. And someone goes, "Have you never listened to Gaerea?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know who that is." And he goes, "Go check them out," and gave me a particular track to check out, which was Urge. I'm like, "Okay, I'll go check it out. Just give it a chance." And I'm like, whoa, this is well done. I'm like, this actually does definitely blend aspects of black metal with some of the writing styles of metalcore. I'm like, I don't hate this. This is intriguing. Okay, not bad. And then, I became fascinated and interested in Gaerea. And then, I'd heard Mirage come out. Mirage was a little bit on the odder side for me. They kind of started going more towards what's considered the post-black metal aspect, where they started bringing in some like indie atmospheric elements into it. And I'm like, okay, it's not particularly my thing, but it still sounds interesting. I don't think I'd hate it if it came on in the background, so roll with it. And then Lost came out. So out of the singles that we heard, I was not impressed at all. I'm like, wow, they doing something interesting here. So I'm like, I never like singles. I really don't, because everything's taken out of the context of the album, and the context of the album can make or break something, honestly, for me. So listen to the album. I listened to most of the album. And I will say, Gaerea is doing something very excellent in respective regards, and that is they are doing a lot of blending of different elements. They do have some elements of black metal, although at this point it's just dust on it, like sprinklings of it. And when I say black metal, it's more like post-black metal, that they're sprinkling aspects of those elements. They're doing can I say metalcore? I don't even know. There's bits of that, I guess, that sprinkled in, but then it's almost mostly avant-garde that they're throwing in to the mix as well, and all of it together makes an interesting experience. It actually does. And the whole time vocally I'm listening to this and I'm thinking to myself, this reminds me so much of when Ollie Sykes from Bring the Horizon broke what he was originally doing and went to that heavy vocal compression and just straight melody in his material with Bring Me the Horizon. I'm like, this sounds exactly like that. Whenever
I heard Bring Me the Horizon in this as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I'm just thinking to myself, Frosty would greatly enjoy this in that aspect. And
I enjoyed half of it.
Yeah. And instrumentally, things were actually well done. Can't knock it instrumentally. Like drums, they were doing drum things, I guess. There were some blast things here and there. But vocals, there was such a focus on atmosphere that it almost, for me, distracted from, I mean, I guess that's what the intention was, but it just distracted from the source material of what he was doing. And altogether, it was just a very odd blend, but still it worked for what they were trying to achieve, which was, I feel like at this point, almost a new genre of modern avant-garde post-black metal. I don't know what the hell they call it anymore. Granted, I know artists within that spectrum of things fucking hate labels. They hate it because it boxes them in, which I get it, but there's still a section where you need a classification to know, for fans to be able to discuss amongst themselves and to other people, oh, well, what style did they do? I don't know how to describe this at all. Like, and then that can become a problem. And it's like, if you're into odd indie shit that's trying to be some kind of metal, go for it. It might be up your alley. And that's like the best way I can describe it, because I'm losing touch on what I can actually describe this as. But I will say, this is going to be odd coming from me. I hated the album. Truth be told, like, it's not something I'm going to listen to again, but for what they were doing with it and what they were trying to achieve, they did excellent. Absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't tell you what my favorite track on the album was, because I didn't have one, because I just was listening to it. And then Stardust came on. I spent about 30 seconds to a minute listening to it, and then I went to something else, because I'm like, no, I hate this. Just hate every bit of this. So I honestly didn't give it the time of day. Oh well. That being said, as far as the rating goes, I kind of struggled with this, because in spite of the fact that I would never listen to this again on my own, I do see it did still have elements that I enjoyed. Does that mean I'm going to go back and listen to it? No. But I actually gave this a 3 out of 5, because for what it is doing, it is excelling at it. And I'm almost morbidly curious as to where they go from here. I don't know. Like, they're doing something so bizarre that I have to call it avant-garde or experimental, even though I think those two things are synonymous at this point. But I would recommend this album absolutely to an indie person that kind of wants to explore metal, because they are going to find a lot of aspects they're going to love. If Frosty actually enjoyed this, if he had, I honestly found that this was an album that, if he wanted to play while we were seeing each other, we were talking, it could be in the background, and I wouldn't be offended by it completely. So yeah, it's gonna be a special case scenario. If it's gonna be in the background and I don't have access to change the channel or change the selection, I'm not gonna want to stab myself in the ear with a fork. So I don't know entirely what to say. And I'm struggling because, again, it had elements I greatly enjoyed, but other elements I didn't enjoy, oh my god, did they lean into it, and I fucking hated it, especially with the vocals. Oh my god, I hated them so much. But instrumentally,
you're able to appreciate it for what it's worth.
I'm able to appreciate it for what he's trying to do, and it's nice. And for people that like that, it's nice. Instrumentally, for the most part, I actually greatly enjoyed it. I guess in some aspects, in some parts, this album was all over the place for me. But anyways, 3 out of 5. I'm leaving it at that. Walking it in, whether musically, lyrically, or literally. Next time, we'll see you guys later. Keep rolling heavy. And wow, I twist that ending up